Today we're going to be talking about Sanguine Alchemy and its a new slight rise to fame. You may have seen my recent video showcasing it against dungeon bosses and giving a brief description on what goes on. In this video I'm going to be talking a little bit more into detail and explain how the exotic works, the comparison to Well, and how it can help you outdamage even a base of Well of Radiance. Bungie recently updated this exotic stating that standing in a rift now grants a non-stacking bonus to weapon damage matching your subclass damage type, and it's equal to 2x surge mods. Now, at first glance, you might think, non-stacking, well, that sounds like it just doesn't stack with anything else. Not exactly the truth. It seems that the non-stacking portion of that is referring to not stacking with surge mods rather than other damage abilities in the game. Just a poor choice of words on Bungie's part, I think. In other words, Sanguine does stack with certain abilities such as Empowering Rift or Weaken, and that's exactly what we're going to be showing off today. Now, first things first, I want to clarify that this isn't going to be a video telling you that Well Warlocks are dead and that this is the overwhelming meta pick from now on, because that's just not the case. So before we get hit with the, we just use Well of Radiance in 3 surges, please just watch the video and understand the use of the exotic and what I'm trying to say. That said, there are cases where you'll be able to utilize Sanguine to increase your damage higher than a base Well of Radiance, and the key word there is base Well of Radiance. Namely, I'm talking about solo content or fire teams with non-Warlocks. Specifically, this allows you to not have to run solar, and also allows you to utilize your boot mods in other ways besides just insert 3 surge mods for the affinity of your heavy weapon here. So how exactly does this beef up your damage? As mentioned earlier, this exotic can stack with 2 very easy things to use for damage options and give you a big damage increase at little to no cost. It doesn't require the use of a super like Well, and the first thing is Empowering Rift, which is, well, you just place a rift down, that's it. Second use is Weaken, which you have a few ways of doing, most notably through Weaken Grenades or a Child of the Old Gods. So what you're going to be looking at is stacking Sanguine on top of Empowering Rift on top of a Weaken Grenade. Now, real quick, to demonstrate this, we're going to visit everyone's favorite punching bag on Nessus and test this out on Carl. So here's that. So here we are at Carl's Jabroni lair. We're going to demonstrate the Well first. We're going to use a simple weapon, Taipan, and we're going to hit Carl in the face with it. Currently, we do not have surge mods on, and we don't have Sanguine on. So we're just going to hit Carl in the face while having Well up, and then we'll see how much damage we get. Oh, Carl, come here. Alright, we're going to hit him for 71,003 damage. Now we're on Void, and I want people to just keep one thing in mind here before we actually shoot the gun. This, on top of what you're going to see with the gunshot, also includes not using your super at all here. So if you wanted to, you could also incorporate using your Nova Bomb to put in more damage with a super offensively, while also getting more damage than a standard Well. So let's go shoot Carl in the face now, and keep that information in mind. Now we hit with Well for, I believe it was 71k. Now we're going to throw an Emprift, then a Weaken, and then hit him in the face with Sanguine and the linear shot and see what the damage difference is. So we're going to do this. He's going to get sucked for a second here. And then we hit him in the face. And we get 91k 713 damage. Now just looking at that, comparing it to a standard Well, just base Well, not including the use of surge mods, this beats out Well by about 22.5% per shot. And you might be thinking, well, what about just running 3x surge mods? Well, if you did that, Void X3 surge mod still wins by about 9.5%, not including grenade damage or the use of a Nova Bomb, but hypothetically, that is a choice. Yes, you could run Well plus 3x surge mods. However, the point of this is that Sanguine here gives you the option of not restricting your boot mods and just using them to pump out your heavy weapon damage on whatever affinity you're using. For example, you can instead run Sanguine and your boot mods to put damage elsewhere, such as your kinetic damage, where things like Izanagi and Witherhoard reside. You know, 2 examples of some of the most popular weapons in the entire game. And utilize hot swapping that with things like, I don't know, bait and switch weapons, which seem to be the entire theme of this season, with Apex Predator, Cold Comfort. You get the idea. Additionally, you can choose to go the support route as well, in running things like Absolution, Better Already, Installation, etc., while still having Sanguine give you a 2x surge mod boost to whatever you want. So all in all, is Sanguine going to kill Well of Radiance? No. Is it a must-use over Well? Also no. Does it have its own place in the game as a good exotic now with uses in some things like solo content? Absolutely. Last thing to note, you can chain between popping wells and switching to other affinities as well. For example, you can use a well while wearing Sanguine and then switch to Arc and use Sanguine to boost the damage of a Hothead while also using your boots to boost the damage of a Kinetic, such as its Nagi, and here's that clip. So where can you actually use this kind of setup? Basically, you can do it anywhere in the game that doesn't have a restricted loadout that locks in your gear. However, even in some cases, that can work as well. For example, we're going to have Grandmasters later this season, and in Grandmasters, we have built-in surges in the strikes. So, for example, let's say we do a Grandmaster that has Void Surge built in. Now, you don't want to run Void, you still want to run Solar, whether it's for the protection of Well, healing nades, whatever it may be, and you just want to stay on Solar. Cool. So now you can do Solar, have Sanguine on, and then you can choose to pop in a Solar either energy weapon or heavy weapon, doesn't matter which one, you could pick either, and then do the other one with Void, so you're still playing into the Void Surge that's built into the strike. You can still build into Sanguine to give you a bonus weapon damage to your Solar weapon, whichever one that may be, energy or heavy, and you can then play into your boots to give you, let's say, kinetic damage if you want to use Nagi, Arbalist, Witherhoard, whatever, or you can do something like Stasis for Aegir Scepter. Doesn't matter which one, it still works. So essentially, this just gives you a lot of flexibility in your builds. Instead of just being like, okay, the strike is Void, I'm running Void with Void, also Void, 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 and Void, then my boots will also run 3x Void Surge to go with the Void. Now it's like, okay, I can do Void, I can do Solar, or Arc, or Kinetic, or Stasis, or I can run like one Arc damage mod and then run one Kinetic mod, or maybe I can run 2 Kinetic mods and like Insulation or any other ability regen mod on your boots. Whatever you want to do, you can be flexible with it instead of just putting everything all in one basket in one affinity, if that makes sense. Also, I will leave a dim link to just a standard Sanguine Alchemy Void build where it'll just have Void-related mods in case you want to start with Void, and if you want to switch, just take off Void and replace the mods accordingly. And that's it. If you enjoyed the video, a like, a share, or a sub would be appreciated. That's up the channel. Let me know what you think. And more videos on the way, so stay tuned. Check you guys in the next video. Alright? Okay, goodbye.